Hey cats, it's Ed Midsole Bud here. A retrospective of the year today for you, my running related awards for 2022. I'm going to be looking into innovation, quality and versatility, but most importantly, fun. Let's get into it and send 2022 out with a bang with my very unique Eddbud running awards. Welcome to the channel and to my running awards for 2022. I'm going to be dipping into the best of the best in various different Eddbud categories that are all my own really. There's some superb shoes today, some quality clothing, ingenious innovation and fantastic fun. Let's get to it. If you've been enjoying the content on the channel recently, help us out to continue to grow by hitting that subscribe button, but also clicking the bell below for notifications. It really does help the channel out too if you give this video a thumbs up like and share the video with your running buddies. Dankeschön. 4 categories today in my own unique style. I've got my best and most used clothing item of 2022, the most innovative running item of 2022. I'm talking boundary expanding, envelope pushing, forward thinking. Also, I have the most consistently fun shoe of 2022. Lastly, the absolute best shoe that I've used over the last year. It's a bit of fun today, people. Please don't take it all too seriously. Maybe a little bit seriously, but you know, don't get really upset or anything. Put it this way, it's all about running fast in one direction, isn't it? With a bit of packing foam attached to your foot and only some recycled plastic bottles and twine to hold it there. First category today is clothing. So what's been the most used and enjoyed piece of gear on the channel over the last year? We have several contenders and here they are. The SOAR all-weather running jacket 3.0, a true jack of all weathers with lots of storage and SOAR quality. The BRIGHTON base layer from TRACKSMITH, a brilliant item which can be worn casually or for any session really. The moisture wicking properties of the base layer mean it keeps you dry, but it's also wearable for several sessions before it needs a wash, and I have actually tried that out. It took about 3 sessions before I felt I really needed to wash it. It had a certain sort of salty tinge about it, like when you go to the seaside on holiday or something. You just sort of dry it naturally and you're good to go for a few sessions. Good conforming fit with that one. It's warm enough for single-digit Celsius running, or for something a touch warmer. Next up, the Nike Dri-Fit Advanced Half Tights. They're the gold standard for me in terms of shorts, in my opinion. 4 pockets, also a larger rear pocket for phones, and the new Dri-Fit Advanced version of that model. These wash well and they stay consistent over time, and that is not the case for all half tights. Some of them start to get a little baggy, you know. That's why I do have multiple pairs of these in the rotation. Last up is the WINDBREAKER from SOAR. Nice soft and conforming garment once again. It's got a half zip fastening, rear phone pocket for stashing your items. Great in the cold, gusty weather of recent times. So what's the winner of this category? It's got to be the SOAR all-weather running jacket 3.0. One of the best waterproof protectors out there, guys. There's been some foul weather recently and this one's really done the business for me. Super light yet really insulated and complete with conveniently placed pockets. They're easy to get to, especially when you're someone that last year fractured their shoulder and you can't quite get to those pockets right at the back. This one's fine. I love the overhand protection from the thumb holes at the end of the sleeves. That means it keeps your hands warm in the colder temperatures. Does a great job of keeping the cold rain off you during your runs. I found it to be super versatile as well over different temperatures and different weather conditions. I do love the larger but appropriately sized pockets. You can get your phone in there if you want to. Perhaps if you're going for a longer session, you need to stock up on fuel. The pockets are just right. So for me, best clothing item of the last year is that SOAR all-weather running jacket 3.0. I just used it again and again and again. I think that's a sign of a really well put together piece of kit. Now we're moving on to out and out running fun. Which item has been the most consistently enjoyable for running over the last year? Now I think one of the shoes that got me out there most often was probably the ZOOMX Invincible Run Flyknit 2. Even on days where perhaps the legs weren't really feeling like it, this shoe kind of coaxed me out there. It almost like goaded me and said,
"Look, I'm so cushioned, I'm so squashy.
Why on earth can't you run today?" And you kind of give in after a while. That ZOOMX cushion just comes calling and it really does help you out to keep that consistency in your training. And that brings a smile to the face, of course. That ADIZERO ADIOS 7 was another one of those shoes that just put a smile on my face whenever I used it. Fun, nimble, light, inexpensive. What else does a guy need? I think you've got to include the PRIMEX STRUNG here as well. That's certainly a shoe that brought a smile to my face until the end of the month when I realised how much it cost. It's appeared in a few other categories in today's video though. Darn good fun fun option though, as long as you don't mind heights. I think before it actually started to give me some arch pain, the Alphafly Next Percent 2 was actually up there. That was a really fun, smashing shoe to run in, but again, at serious cost, and kind of wiped the smile off my face after a while. I think for this award, on consistency alone, I'm going to probably go with the cheapest chips ADIOS 7. That's giving me the most smiles per buck. Fun to lace up and see where it takes you. It's one of those kind of shoes you can have any type of run in mind, just see what happens. A stellar outsole. Handles all conditions and a glove-like fit through the midfoot, locking you into that responsive midsole. How Adidas can produce this shoe and sell it for so little is beyond me, especially when you consider some of the other shoes that have come out of recent time. It just doesn't seem to work out. Perhaps they got it wrong. Perhaps someone phoned up and told like head office, you know, this is how much it's going to be, and they said, what? Oh, okay, you know, if that's right, we'll go with it. A bit like, you know, Donkey Kong was supposed to be called something else. The ADIOS 7 had all the hallmark things that made the ADIOS 6 a really great shoe from last year. They just haven't tinkered around with the formula too much, and that's just fine with me. You know, there's certain nice tasting beverages that just work. You just put the things together and they taste good, and what more needs to be said? So for my most consistently fun shoe of 2022 is the ADIZERO ADIOS 7 from Adidas. We're talking innovation next. Now, there's been some really innovative designs over the last year in terms of running shoes. Things that spring to mind that are contenders for this award have got to be the PUMA Fast R Nitro Elite, with that split midsole design, mega light upper, that awesome synthetic, but still soft and flexible material on top of the foot. The ADIOS PRIMEX midsole and outsole been around for a little while now, but that awesome strung upper that we saw them place on top of that midsole unit this year is out of this world. A wondrous material that is a big innovation for the Three Stripe brand. It's very light, but also strong, yet conforming. I think the third innovation of this year that's been particularly prevalent has probably been the reduction in midsole material that we see in a lot of shoes. For example, New Balance have their Energy Arc. Uses the foam itself and the carbon plate within the midsole to produce a more propulsive, bouncy ride with less weight. I think that's the three main innovations that I've certainly been interested in this year. If I've got to choose a winner, it's got to be the strung upper here from Adidas. It does feel a little bit like the other two innovations are perhaps more iterations of technologies that we've seen before. The Puma's a little bit like that Tempo Next Percent from Nike, where we've got that decoupled heel and the forefoot. The midsole void and Energy Arc vibe, well, I've yet to test that out, although I do have a pair of those on the way. I say that, I've actually tested the SC Pacer, haven't I? It did make the shoe lighter, but I'm not entirely sure it made it that much more propulsive. That strung upper was first unveiled in November 2020, but now the concept is finally realised in the PRIMEX Strung. It does a superb job as well of making that midsole and outsole from the PRIMEX even better. So my award for innovation goes to the Adidas Strung Upper. Moving on now to the absolute best of 2022. It's been so many brilliant models really this year. Some really good stuff. There have been quite a few sequels that have been a bit disappointing, I suppose. The ADIOS 7 was a great medium between a sort of more usable everyday shoe and a faster paced shoe, though it's certainly an iteration from the ADIOS 6 really. The Alphafly 2, very much a remix of the original from 2020. The much anticipated Streakfly from Nike just didn't really hit the spot. I'm not going to talk about the Zoomfly 5 either. That one was, well, I didn't really have that much hope for it anyway. I think obvious shoes to stand out, perhaps hitting the high notes like an on-form Jamie Cullen, got to be the PRIMEX Strung, perhaps also the TAKUMI Sen 8, and I think the METASPEED Sky Plus from ASICS. That one was absolute dynamite for me. And let's not forget the much-loved viewer Endorphin Pro 3 from Saucony. If I've got to pick one though that is my absolute best from the year, it's pretty tough. They're all right up there, those shoes, for me. Very little between them. I think it's hard to actually distinguish any major advantage. I mean, the Endorphin Pro 3s have many an update from the first two iterations of the shoe. The Sen 8 was a superb design, using the Adidas tech from some of the other shoes in the Adidas running lineup in such a way that it has the essence of those energy rods and the plated formula plus devilish durability. The PRIMEX STRUNG is a superb model, though you gotta say it is a midsole and outsole update from 2021. What about that ASICS shoe, the METASPEED Sky Plus? It's got something else about it, that one. There's nothing else quite like this on the market right now. It's so light. I think most of the weight of the shoe is actually taken up by that midsole and outsole. Maximum cushion here, but also gratuitous grip. It is one shoe that's actually coaxed the best performances out of me in 2022, despite the numerous setbacks that I've had along the way. I really enjoyed racing in this shoe, guys, over the last year, and it's refreshing to see ASICS not resting on their laurels as well by simply using the same midsole design again. It's similar, but there are some significant changes between certainly this and the Edge model as well. The balance of the midsole between the heel and the toe really did work for me very well. As running shoes go, I think this has pretty much got everything that I want. It feels like you're running fast without a tether. Probably the best for me in 2022. If you're talking all-out excitement and endeavour, then I think it's got to be the METASPEED Sky Plus. I love how the upper is so light and the profile around the ankle so low. It leaves you feeling like the foam is actually the only thing that really matters in the shoe. Your performance isn't restricted by an overly present upper. So that one shoe of 2022 for me, no doubt. Really enjoyed using that the other day for a longer session where I threw in about 6 miles at half marathon pace, 3x2 mile repeats with some steady pace recoveries in between. It was absolutely fantastic for that. What could ASICS have in store for us in 2023? Let me know your choices for my Strange Awards down in the comments. Remember, it's just a bit of fun, people, alright? Happy Christmas. A musical interlude for you. I've been really enjoying the vinyl copy I've got of The Piano Man at Christmas by Jamie Cullen. It's recorded in a really beautiful way. It sounds very analog and open. Maybe that's the vinyl, I don't know, but there's a really great track on there, which is the title tune, The Piano Man at Christmas. It's kind of talking about going to different places and playing for all sorts of different people, sort of painting a slightly lonely existence, I suppose. And there's many a working musician out there that probably has felt that at some point. I can remember when I was younger, actually, around this sort of period, and all your friends are out having fun. Well, this is when a lot of gigs are, this is when a lot of performances are, and sometimes you have to take those performances over going out and sort of mingling and socializing with your friends, and you end up leading this weird existence of being available when everybody else isn't. Really struck a chord with me the other day while I was sat there typing up some scripts for the channel, just alone there, sat at the big table. It brought back a lot of memories, actually, and kind of images of how I felt and how I was enjoying what I was doing, but also wishing that there were other people there to enjoy it with me. Really fantastic album, actually. Go and check it out. Jamie Cullen with The Piano Man at Christmas. Thanks for tuning in, people. Hope you're having a fun, festive time. Hit that subscribe button, click the bell below for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, like, and also share it with your running buddies. Hit us up with a super thanks as well if you're enjoying the content on the channel. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you